All right. Ready to get a little spicy
I
today?
think so.
We're going to take a deep dive
Okay.
into the New Sex Bible.
Okay.
And no, it is not your grandma's, dusty old Bible.
Right.
This is, if you're looking for a shortcut to understanding the complexities of sex,
Oh, yeah.
this is the deep dive for you.
I love it.
We're going to break down the science, the techniques, some surprising things
Yeah.
to help you unlock a more fulfilling sex life.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I
like,
think there are some things, though, we're going to talk about that people are going to be like,
oh, yeah.
what?
There's going to be some myth busting. There's going to be some surprises. There's going to be some things that people didn't know about their bodies.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating how much we can learn about pleasure from science.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize
Right.
that our brain plays a crucial role in the sexual experience.
So it's not just all about the physical stuff.
No.
Oh, me more.
Your brain is like the most powerful sex organ that you have. It is. And during sex, the brain's reward circuitry lights up.
Oh.
It's releasing a flood of dopamine, other feel-good chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to what happens when someone uses heroin, although obviously less intense and less dangerous.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Wow, that's a powerful comparison.
It is.
So are we saying that sex is addictive?
Not necessarily addictive in a clinical sense,
Okay.
but your brain's reward system does crave those pleasurable sensations.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And there's more.
Okay.
The lateral orbitofrontal cortex, that's the part of your brain that is responsible for decision-making, it actually takes a break during orgasm.
Uh-huh. So that's why we feel like we lose control?
Yes.
We're just completely swept away.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the sexual response cycle,
Right.
which a lot of people think is purely physical, but it's actually a complex interplay of physical, cognitive, and psychological responses.
Really?
It is.
Wow.
And there's 4 stages: excitement, plateau, orgasm, and resolution. And each one has its own set of unique sensations and emotional experiences.
The book talks about this woman who was uncomfortable with her own genitals,
Oh, yeah.
and she decides to look at them in the mirror every day for 10 days straight.
Wow.
And by the end, her discomfort was totally gone.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a great example of how self-exploration can be so empowering.
Right.
Understanding your own anatomy and how your body responds to touch.
Yeah,
It's really key to unlocking pleasure.
I like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
How comfortable are you with exploring your own body?
That's a good question.
That's something to consider on your own journey to sexual fulfillment.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
So let's talk about those pleasure hotspots, right?
Oh, yeah.
The erogenous zones, like
Yeah.
the things that can really send shivers down your spine.
Okay, so let's start with the clitoris, which is often considered the epicenter of female pleasure.
Yeah.
But it's important to understand that the clitoris is far more complex than just the external head that you see. It has internal legs and bulbs that extend deep within the body and play a major role in the intensity and the variety of sensations that women experience.
Wow. So there's a lot going on under the surface.
Oh, yeah.
It's no wonder it's so sensitive.
Absolutely. It's designed for pleasure.
That's so cool.
And then there's the G-spot, a topic that has been debated and discussed for decades.
Ooh, yeah, that mysterious G-spot.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it's not a distinct organ, like some people might believe.
Okay.
It's actually a highly sensitive area on the front wall of the vagina.
Okay.
And for many women, stimulating the G-spot can lead to intense pleasure and even female ejaculation.
So it's not a myth.
It can vary greatly from woman to woman.
Right.
Research on the G-spot is still ongoing,
Okay.
but for many, it's a very real source of intense pleasure.
Fascinating.
Okay.
Now, moving on to male anatomy.
Okay.
I think most people are familiar with, the basics of a penis, but is there anything surprising we should know?
Well, you might be surprised to learn that during intercourse, the penis actually assumes a curved shape. Internally, like a boomerang.
I did not know that.
There's a hidden portion that adds to its true length, which is something that a lot of people don't realize.
So size really doesn't matter then, huh?
The age-old question.
I know, right?
It's less about size and more about finding the right fit and connection for both partners.
Okay.
The angle and the depth of penetration can play a significant role in stimulating different areas and creating different sensations.
So it's not just about the tip, so to speak.
Exactly. It's about the whole package,
The whole package.
the whole experience.
Right.
And then there's another often overlooked area of male anatomy
Okay.
that is worth exploring, and that's the prostate.
The prostate, what's so special about that?
Well, it's a small gland that's located near the bladder.
Mm-hmm.
and it plays a key role in male orgasm.
Oh.
And what's fascinating is that stimulating the prostate can create unique, full-body sensations. And some men even experience ejaculation without any direct penile stimulation.
Now that's what I call a total body experience.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But, it's not just about the anatomy.
Right.
The mind plays a huge role in desire and seduction.
Mm-hmm.
Desire actually originates in the mind,
Okay.
and both attraction and arousal are cognitive processes.
So you're saying our brain is the real seducer?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We often underestimate the power of thoughts, fantasies, and mental stimulation in fueling desire.
Right.
And this is especially important in long-term relationships.
Yeah.
Where that initial spark of limerence, that intense infatuation.
Yeah, the honeymoon phase.
Yes, that naturally fades over time.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. So how do you keep things exciting when the honeymoon phase is over?
Well, the book has this interesting concept called mental cheating.
Okay.
And it's basically fantasizing about other scenarios or individuals to kind of reignite that spark of desire.
So we're giving ourselves permission to daydream a little bit.
Exactly. It's all about tapping into the power of your imagination
Okay.
to boost your arousal
Yeah.
and bring a new level of excitement to your sex life.
Ooh, that's intriguing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try that.
Okay.
Now, the book also delves into some specific techniques, like dirty talk.
dirty talk
Yeah.
can be incredibly effective both in and out of the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's about using words to create anticipation, build tension, and express your desires in a way that feels exciting and liberating.
Yeah, I can see how that would add a whole new level of intimacy.
Absolutely.
Well connected.
It's a powerful tool.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also important to remember that while techniques are helpful,
Yeah.
non-sexual touch and affection are really vital for maintaining intimacy and connection in any relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Right.
sometimes a cuddle or a lingering kiss can be just as powerful
Absolutely.
as, a steamy makeout session. So,
Sometimes more.
yeah, it's all about staying connected.
Hmm.
Speaking of techniques, I'm curious to learn more about what the book says about oral sex.
Oh, oral sex, one of my favorite topics.
Everyone's favorite topic, I think.
When it comes to oral sex, the New Sex Bible offers a variety of techniques
Okay.
for both partners. So for her,
Mm-hmm.
there's the lollipop, sweet suction, and tongue screw.
The names alone,
Right.
sound like they could spice things up.
Each one is designed to target the clitoris and surrounding areas in unique ways.
Okay.
And then for him, we have the twist and shout, the real deal, and the temple.
Okay.
Each one focusing on different aspects of the penis and surrounding areas.
It sounds like there's so much more to oral sex than just like focusing on the head of the penis.
Absolutely. You got to explore the whole anatomy,
Oh, okay.
right? And find what feels good for both partners.
Yeah.
Now, what about feedback?
Ooh, feedback. Like,
But-
how do you tell your partner what you like?
Right, without hurting their feelings.
Right.
That's a very common concern.
Yeah.
The key is open communication. The book suggests focusing on the positive,
Okay.
guiding each other towards what feels good
Yeah.
rather than pointing out what doesn't.
Okay.
You can start with, like, I love it when you,
Ooh, I like that.
and go from there.
Okay.
It's all about that positive reinforcement
Yeah.
and guiding each other towards pleasure.
Yeah, I think we could all benefit from a little bit more open and honest communication
Absolutely.
in the bedroom.
Yeah,
So,
communication is key.
okay, now let's move on to a topic that might be a little bit more adventurous. Toys and kink.
Ooh, fun.
The New Sex Bible embraces the world of sex toys,
Yes.
normalizing their use for both solo and partnered play.
Absolutely.
Vibrators, for example, fantastic tools for enhancing pleasure.
I love vibrators.
Yeah.
They come in a wide range of shapes and sizes and intensities.
Yeah.
Everything from, gentle rubbing vibes to
Mhm.
the legendary Hitachi magic wand.
I've heard tales of the magic wand.
It's earned its reputation.
It's really that powerful.
Let's just say it's very effective at stimulating the clitoris and surrounding areas.
Okay.
But men can also enjoy those intense vibrations.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
What about other toys, like cock rings?
Oh, cock rings are designed to enhance erections and sensations for men.
Okay.
They work by restricting blood flow, which can lead to a firmer and longer-lasting erection.
Oh, okay. And then there's,
And then there's the kinky side of things.
oh, the kinky side.
What does the book say about that?
The New Sex Bible encourages exploration,
Okay.
and it provides information on a variety of kinky props, like blindfolds and restraints, whips and floggers.
Okay.
But it stresses that safety and consent are absolutely paramount when venturing into this territory.
That's so important.
It's all about respecting boundaries and making sure that everyone feels comfortable and safe.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So now, I know things don't always go as planned in the bedroom.
That's true.
What does the book say about, like, common challenges?
Yeah.
Like loss of erection?
Or difficulty reaching orgasm.
It's important to remember that these challenges are actually very common
Okay.
and often very treatable.
Okay.
So, for example, loss of erection is something that most men experience at some point in their lives.
Right.
It could be caused by stress, anxiety, fatigue, or even underlying medical conditions.
Oh.
So the key is to not panic
Okay.
and to seek professional help if it becomes a persistent issue.
So it's not necessarily a sign of something serious.
Not always, but it's important to address any underlying anxiety or stress
Okay.
and communicate openly with your partner to reduce that performance pressure.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And then?
What about difficulty reaching orgasm?
Yes, another common concern.
Yeah, no, that can be really frustrating.
Absolutely. And it can happen to both men and women.
Yeah.
The book encourages self-exploration and experimentation to understand your body and what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
It also stresses the importance of communication and working together with your partner to find what feels good. There are many techniques and approaches to try,
Yeah.
and it's often a matter of finding what clicks for you individually and as a couple.
So patience and open-mindedness are key.
They are essential.
Okay.
And if you're facing persistent challenges or feeling overwhelmed, seeking professional help from a therapist or sex therapist is always a good option.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh.
Okay.
Yep.
So we've covered a lot of ground, the science, the anatomy, and some practical techniques.
We've just scratched the surface.
But before we move on to the next part of our deep dive, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one anecdote from the book.
Okay.
It talks about this couple who decided to interview each other about their sexual needs and desires,
Interesting.
even though they've been together for years.
That's a great exercise.
Yeah.
It's so easy to fall into routines and assumptions in long-term relationships. And sometimes we forget to just check in with our partner and see if their needs and desires have evolved.
Right. It's like a relationship check-in
Yes.
for your sex life.
Exactly. And it can be incredibly eye-opening and lead to a deeper level of intimacy and connection.
I love that.
Right.
It seems like communication is really the key to unlocking a more fulfilling and satisfying sex life.
It is. It's the foundation
Yeah.
of a healthy and happy sexual relationship.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation.
Me too.
I feel like I'm learning so much.
It's exciting to see how much knowledge and insight we can gain
Mm-hmm.
by exploring these topics openly and honestly.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into the new sex Bible.
Yes, we have.
We've explored the science, the anatomy, and even some practical techniques.
We have.
But we're just getting started.
Oh, yeah.
In the next part, we're going to delve even deeper into the psychological aspects of sex,
Okay.
discuss how to keep the flame burning in long-term relationships, and tackle some of the common challenges that people face in their sex lives.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned, because things are about to get even more interesting.
It's going to get hot in here.
Oh, yeah.
Buckle up. You know, picking up where we left off,
Yeah.
I think that couple's story really highlights that intimacy isn't a one-time destination.
Right.
It's like a journey of continuous discovery,
Mm-hmm.
even with someone you've known for years.
That resonates with me because it's so easy to assume we know everything about our partner, especially when it comes to something as personal as sex.
Exactly. And the New Sex Bible dives deeper into this
Okay.
and suggests we map out our own pleasure.
Pleasure maps.
Yes.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
So this is about intentionally exploring your body, identifying what feels good to you, and even charting it out.
Oh, wow.
The book actually has diagrams
Really?
where you can mark your erogenous zones and your preferences.
That's so cool.
It's like creating a treasure map
I love that.
for your own pleasure.
Yeah, it takes all the guesswork out of things
Right.
and really encourages us to pay attention to our own sensations.
Exactly. And it reminds us that pleasure isn't just about the genitals.
Yeah.
You know, we often forget about other erogenous zones like the nipples,
Mhm.
ears, neck, inner thighs.
Ooh. Yeah, inner thighs. Don't forget those.
Those are good.
A little attention there.
A little attention can go a long way.
It can go a long way.
And the book explores techniques like raindrops and finger stripes,
Okay.
which use light touch and varying pressure to awaken those often neglected nerve endings.
Those sound like techniques worth trying.
They are. And we can't forget about the simple yet powerful act of kissing.
Mm-hmm.
It's something we often take for granted. But kissing releases those feel-good hormones
Oh, yeah.
like
yeah.
oxytocin and dopamine,
Right.
which promote bonding and connection.
So kissing isn't just about passion, it's about building intimacy too.
Exactly.
Where,
And the New Sex Bible reminds us that there's more to kissing than just lips meeting lips.
right.
There are different types of kisses,
Yeah.
from soft and sensual to firm and demanding, and even those teasing bites you mentioned earlier.
Ooh, I am a fan of the well-placed teasing bite.
It's all about adding a little playful edge,
Absolutely.
and experimenting with different techniques can keep things fresh and exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of keeping things fresh, let's talk about sexting.
Ooh, sexting.
Yes, it's become a modern-day form of flirting and seduction,
Yeah, it really has.
but there's an art to doing it well.
So what kind of advice does the book offer?
Well, it emphasizes the importance of asking permission first.
Consent is always key.
Always, always. You never want to send unsolicited, explicit content.
Yeah.
It's crucial to make sure your partner is comfortable
Right.
and enthusiastic about engaging in that kind of communication.
Absolutely. Consent is key. That goes without saying.
Always.
But it's always good to be reminded.
Absolutely. The book also suggests leaving something to the imagination.
Ooh, okay.
Don't reveal everything right away.
I like that.
The goal is to build anticipation and keep things playful.
Ah, it's all about the tease.
It is. A little mystery can go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And here's an interesting tip. Avoid emoticons.
No emoticons.
Apparently, emoticons can kill the mood,
Really?
according to the New Sex Bible.
Wow.
They can make things feel less genuine and more juvenile.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So it's all about using words
Yes.
to paint a picture
Exactly.
and create a sensual experience through language.
Exactly.
Now, we've talked about techniques in communication.
Yes.
But what about keeping the flame burning in the long run?
Oh, the long game.
Yes. How do we maintain a fulfilling sex life as relationships evolve and mature?
That's a great question, and it's something that I think a lot of couples struggle with.
I agree.
The initial start is easy,
Mm-hmm.
but how do we sustain that connection and passion over time?
Right.
The New Sex Bible dedicates an entire chapter to this very topic,
Okay.
and it emphasizes the importance of deepening your connection with your partner,
Okay.
not just physically,
Right.
but emotionally and intellectually as well.
What are some specific ways to do that?
Well, the book suggests having those deep, meaningful conversations,
Okay.
not necessarily about logistics or daily routines,
Right.
but about things that really matter to you, your fears, your dreams, your vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
It's about staying connected on a deeper level.
I can see how that would create a stronger bond
Absolutely.
and make intimacy feel more meaningful.
Exactly. And sometimes those deep conversations can lead to a rekindling of passion as well.
Right.
The book also encourages couples to try interviewing each other about their sexual needs and desires,
Mm-hmm.
even if they've been together for years.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that people change and evolve,
Right.
and their needs might change too.
I love that it's like hitting the refresh button
Yes.
on your relationship
Exactly.
and rediscovering each other.
And speaking of rediscovering each other,
Mm-hmm.
the New Sex Bible also talks about the power of fantasy.
Ooh, fantasy, now we're talking.
I know, right?
I'm all ears.
It encourages exploring your own fantasies and even sharing them with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
And this can be a way to introduce new elements of excitement and adventure
Yeah.
into your sex life.
I can imagine that could be intimidating at first.
It can be, but also incredibly liberating.
Right.
And the book reassures us that fantasizing about other people is normal.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't diminish the love and connection
Yeah.
we have with our partner.
That's a relief. I think a lot of people feel guilty or ashamed about their fantasies.
They do.
So it's good to know that it's normal
It's a normal and healthy part of sexuality.
and healthy.
And then there's role-playing, which can be a fun and exciting way to spice things up and explore different dynamics within your relationship.
Role-playing, I've always been curious about that, but I don't know where to start.
Okay, well, the New Sex Bible suggests starting slowly,
Okay.
maybe with just a few props or costumes.
Okay.
It could be something as simple as pretending to meet for the first time at a bar,
Right.
or playing out a dominant submissive scenario. It's all about stepping outside of your comfort zone and trying something new.
Yeah, and if it feels awkward, you can always just laugh it off.
Exactly. It's all about having fun and exploring what feels good for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about communication, deepening our connection, exploring fantasies, and even role-playing.
This is great.
Are there any other gems of wisdom in the New Sex Bible when it comes to keeping the flame burning?
Yeah, what else?
One of the key takeaways is the importance of prioritizing non-sexual touch and affection.
Like cuddling, holding hands, just being physically close.
Exactly. Those small gestures can make a big difference in maintaining intimacy and connection.
Hmm.
It's about reminding each other that you care
Right.
and that you're there for each other, both physically and emotionally.
I think that's so important, especially in our busy modern lives.
Absolutely.
We get so caught up in our routines and we forget to slow down
Yes.
and just appreciate those simple moments of connection.
And just be present.
Yeah.
It's about making a conscious effort to prioritize intimacy,
Yeah.
both in and out of the bedroom.
This has been so insightful.
It has.
I'm starting to see how the new sex Bible goes beyond just techniques and positions.
Yes.
It's about fostering a deeper understanding of ourselves, our partners, and this, intricate dance of intimacy.
It really is, and it's important to remember that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to sex and relationships.
Right.
What works for one couple might not work for another.
Right.
The key is to find what feels good for you and your partner, and to communicate openly and honestly
Yeah.
throughout the journey.
Speaking of the journey, I think it's time to address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
The challenges
Ye-
that a lot of people face in their sex lives.
It happens.
The new sex Bible doesn't shy away from these topics, does it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
It acknowledges that challenges are a normal part of life
Right.
and offers practical advice and reassurance for those who might be struggling. So one of the most common issues, particularly for men, is loss of erection.
Right.
And the book emphasizes that this is a very common experience
Mm-hmm.
and not always a sign of a serious medical problem.
So it's not necessarily a reason to panic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In many cases, it's simply caused by stress, anxiety, fatigue,
Right.
or even just being too focused on performance.
Yeah, performance anxiety.
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
So what's the advice for dealing with that?
Yeah.
Well, the book suggests focusing on relaxation and pleasure
Okay.
rather than worrying about achieving an erection.
So shifting the focus
Yes.
from performance to connection and pleasure.
Exactly.
Okay.
It also encourages open communication with your partner
Mm-hmm.
because sharing your concerns can often alleviate the pressure
Right.
and create a more supportive and understanding environment.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And if the problem persists, it's always a good idea to consult a doctor to rule out any underlying medical conditions.
Okay, now what about difficulty reaching orgasm?
Okay, so the New Sex Bible offers a wealth of advice on this topic.
Okay.
It encourages self-exploration through masturbation
Okay.
to understand your own body and what feels good to you.
Yeah.
It also suggests experimenting with different types of stimulation, including toys,
Mm-hmm.
and finding positions that enhance pleasure.
So it's about taking ownership of your own pleasure
Yes.
and being proactive in finding what works for you.
Absolutely.
And communication with your partner is crucial as well.
Always.
Okay.
Talking about your needs and desires can lead to a more fulfilling and satisfying experience for both of you.
Right. What about pain during sex?
So it's essential to talk about pain during sex.
Yeah.
The book explains that pain can have various causes, both physical and psychological.
Okay.
So if you're experiencing pain, it's important to seek professional help
Okay.
to determine the underlying cause and find appropriate treatment.
So we shouldn't just grin and bear it.
Absolutely not. Pain is your body's way of signaling that something is wrong, and ignoring it can lead to further complications
Okay.
and can even damage your relationship with your partner.
Right.
So it's about prioritizing your health and well-being
Yeah.
and not being afraid to seek help when you need it.
Absolutely. And there are resources available.
They're right.
Many resources.
Like therapists and sex therapists and
Exactly.
medical professionals who specialize in sexual health.
Yes, you're not alone, and there is help available.
That's so reassuring. Now, before we move on to the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I wanted to touch on a topic that might be a little taboo for some. Anal play.
Anal play can be a very pleasurable experience for both partners,
Okay.
but it's important to approach it with caution and respect.
Yeah.
The New Sex Bible offers a comprehensive guide to anal play,
Okay.
emphasizing safety, communication, and consent.
So what are some of the key takeaways when it comes to anal play?
First and foremost, both partners need to be on board and comfortable with the idea.
There should be no pressure or coercion involved.
Absolutely.
Communication is crucial throughout the experience, and it's important to start slowly.
Okay.
Use plenty of lube
Right.
and pay attention to your body's signals.
So it's about taking things at a pace
Yes.
that feels safe and comfortable
Exactly.
for everyone involved.
Exactly. And the book debunks some common myths surrounding anal play.
Like what?
For example, Some people believe that it's only for gay men,
Right.
which is simply not true.
Okay.
Anal play can be enjoyed by people of all sexual orientations.
That's a great point. It's about breaking down those stereotypes
Exactly.
and recognizing that pleasure is diverse.
It is an
Yeah.
individual. Yes, and another myth is that anal play is always painful,
Right.
which isn't necessarily true either.
Okay.
With the right approach, communication, and lubrication,
Mm.
it can be a very pleasurable experience.
So it's all about being informed, prepared, and respectful
Yes.
of both yourself and your partner. Now, I think we've covered a lot of ground in the second part of our deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
We've delved into the psychological aspects of sex, explored ways to keep the flame burning in long-term relationships,
Oh, yeah.
and even tackled some common challenges
Yes.
that people face.
It's been a good conversation.
This has been so insightful. I feel more empowered and knowledgeable already.
That's fantastic to hear. And remember, learning about sex and relationships is an ongoing journey.
Mm-hmm.
There's always more to discover and explore.
Right. I'm excited to see what else we uncover in the final part of our deep dive.
Me too. We'll be wrapping things up with some practical tips and resources for continuing your own sexual exploration.
Okay, sounds good. Wow, we've covered so much.
We have.
From the brain's role in pleasure to all the challenges, that come along the way.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up our deep dive into the New Sex Bible,
Mm-hmm.
what are some final takeaways for our listeners to ponder?
It's striking to me how much emphasis this book puts on self-awareness.
Yeah.
It's not just about the techniques.
Right.
It's about understanding your own body,
Right.
your responses,
Mm-hmm.
and what truly brings you pleasure.
I like that. Yeah.
It's really powerful.
It's like knowledge is power, right?
Yes.
The more you know about yourself sexually,
Mm.
the more empowered you are to create, the experience you desire.
Absolutely. And that knowledge extends to sexual health, too.
Right?
The New Sex Bible doesn't shy away from the importance of practicing safe sex.
Safety first.
Always, always. It's about protecting yourself and your partner
Mm-hmm.
from sexually transmitted infections.
Right. Condoms are essential.
Condoms are yes.
Right.
But the book also stresses the importance of regular testing
Right.
and open communication about your sexual history.
Yeah. I mean, those conversations can be a little awkward, but
They can be.
they're so
They're
important.
crucial for everyone's well-being.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's about normalizing those conversations and making them a natural part of any healthy sexual relationship.
All right.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up our exploration of the New Sex Bible, what's the one message you hope our listeners take away?
I think the most important takeaway is that sex is a natural, beautiful, and empowering part of life.
Yeah.
It's something to be celebrated, explored, and enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
with respect and open communication.
I love that. Embracing our sexuality and
Yes.
giving ourselves permission to experience pleasure
Absolutely.
without shame or judgment.
Exactly. And remember, there's no right way to experience sex.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you and your partner
Mm-hmm.
and creating an experience that feels authentic and fulfilling.
So the New Sex Bible certainly provides a lot of food for thought.
It does.
What are some resources for listeners who want to continue exploring these topics?
Well, the book mentions several websites like Scarleteen
Okay.
and Go Ask Alice,
Yeah.
which offer really comprehensive sex education and advice.
Those are great resources.
They are very reliable.
Hmm.
There's also Planned Parenthood, which provides a wide range of sexual health services.
Right.
Everything from testing to counseling.
Okay.
And for those interested in exploring toys
Mm-hmm.
and other products, the book recommends online stores like The Pleasure Chest.
Yeah.
And good for her.
Yeah. Those are good places to start.
And for those who are struggling with more complex issues or need professional guidance,
Right.
seeking help from a certified sex therapist is always a good option.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Well, I think we've officially reached the end of our
Beautiful.
deep dive into the New Sex Bible.
It's been a wild ride.
It has. What a journey it's been.
Fascinating.
I feel like this has really opened my eyes.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed by how much there is to learn
Yeah.
about sex and relationships.
To our listeners out there, what one thing from this deep dive will you try to spice up your sex life?
Ooh, good question.
Remember, communication is key, exploration is encouraged, and pleasure is your birthright.
Don't forget that.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a fascinating topic, so stay curious.